Hello, ProMan team. Welcome to this special explainer. Today, we're going to talk all about one of our most amazing products, MBL8 Concentrated Oil Additive. Think of this as your guide to really understanding it, using it the right way, and most importantly, sharing it with everyone you know. Let's jump right in.
So let me start by asking you a question, one that I think a lot of us here in PNG know the answer to. Is your engine feeling, well, a bit tired and thirsty? You know exactly what I'm talking about. When your PMV, your truck, or just your family car, it just doesn't have that get up and go like it used to.
Maybe you really feel it when you're trying to get up those big hills and you just don't have the power. Or maybe you've noticed you're filling up with fuel more and you're always having to top up the oil. Is the engine making all sorts of new noises? And what about that worry in the back of your mind? That fear of breaking down somewhere on the road? I mean, these are real problems, right? They cost us time and they definitely cost us money. So, what can you actually do about all that? Well, this is where MBL8 comes into the picture. I love calling it your mechanic in a bottle. Why? Because it's such a simple but seriously powerful fix for all those issues we just talked about. So what is it, exactly? In just one sentence, MBL8 is a concentrated oil additive that protects all the most important, hard-working parts of your vehicle. We're talking about your engine, your manual gearbox, your diff, even your hydraulics. It really is an all-around protector. Have you ever wondered what MBL8 actually stands for? It's metal-based lubricant. And that right there is the secret to why it works so well. It uses these tiny, microscopic particles of soft metals, we're talking copper and lead, that mix right into your oil and give it a kind of superpower, a level of protection your oil just can't deliver on its own. Okay, so how on earth does it work inside a hot, noisy, moving engine? You might think it's magic, but it's actually really cool science. And it all comes down to three very simple, very powerful actions. Let's break it down.
First, it lubricates. Imagine millions of tiny little ball bearings rolling between all the metal parts. That's what these particles do, and it cuts down friction in a big way. Second, it fills. Your engine parts, over time, they get tiny little scratches and pits. MBL8 is smart. It finds these spots and fills them in, making the surface smooth again. And third, this is the really amazing part, it plates. With the heat and pressure inside the engine, it actually creates a brand new, super smooth metal surface on top of the old, worn parts. It's literally restoring the engine from the inside.
And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. Listen to this. This is from Mike. He's an A-grade mechanic, and he's been using MBL8 for over 20 years. He said, I pulled the motor down. The big ends had rebuilt themselves with a copper-like surface. MBL8 is simply magic. Wow, that's the plating action we're talking about, seen in the real world. So, what does all of this actually mean for you, for your business, for your family? Well, the benefits are huge. It's going to save you money on fuel and oil. It brings back that lost compression and power so you can tackle those hills again. Your engine will run so much quieter and smoother. It helps cut down on that nasty exhaust smoke. But most importantly, it makes your engine last longer and helps stop those breakdowns that cost a fortune. Okay, so I bet you're ready to try it out. Now, to get these incredible results, you have to use it the right way. But the great news is it is so simple. Let's walk through the steps together so you can get it right every single time. All right, there are just 5 easy steps. First, you only add MBL8 when you're doing an oil change. So oil out, new filter in. Step 2, and this is so important, you have to shake that bottle of MBL8 really, really well. Get all those metal particles mixed up. 3, you're going to mix the right amount into the last liter of new oil just before you pour it in. 4, add that oil and MBL8 mix to your engine. And finally, step 5, start the vehicle up and let it run for about 15 to 30 minutes right then and there. That's what gets the MBL8 moving around so it can start doing its job. Now, let's talk about how much to use, because this is crucial. Please listen carefully. Do not overdose. With MBL8, more is not better. Just follow the guide. For a standard 4-cylinder car, you'll use 75 milliliters. For a 6-cylinder, 100 milliliters. An 8-cylinder, it's 125 milliliters. And for the big rigs, the heavy trucks and industrial machines, you use one full 250 milliliter bottle with each oil change. Simple as that. Oh, and one more pro tip for you. If you have a brand new vehicle or you've just had the engine rebuilt, you need to wait. Let the engine run in properly first. Wait until you've driven at least 5,000 kilometers before you add MBL8. You want those new parts to settle in first before you add that protective layer. So now you know how it works and you know how to use it. Let's talk about who needs this the most. If you can figure this out, you'll know exactly who to talk to and how MBL8 can protect their business and their family. Think about it. Who are the people whose entire livelihood depends on their vehicle? We're talking about our PMV and bus owners. Their vehicles are on the road all day, every day. We're talking about truck drivers and the guys operating heavy machinery. They absolutely cannot afford to have a breakdown. But honestly, it's for anyone who relies on their vehicle and just wants to make it last as long as possible. And if you need some real proof for the truckies and business owners out there, just listen to this story from Jonathan. He's a truck driver and he says, I use MBL8 in every oil change on my Volvo Prime Mover. 1.3 million kilometers on the original motor and still going strong. 1.3 million kilometers. That is just incredible. That's not just saving a bit of money, that's protecting an entire business. Okay, this is the most important part. You've used it in your own car, you've felt the difference. So how do you share that feeling with a friend or your family or a customer? Let's give you a simple, powerful way to tell the story. This is your 2-minute pitch.
You know, the best way to explain MBL8 is not to sell it at all, it's just to share your personal story. And your story is the most powerful tool you have. It's a simple 3-part formula. Part 1. This is what my engine was like before. Maybe it was noisy or weak. Part 2. So I used MBL8. And Part 3. And this is the amazing difference I felt. Maybe it's quieter now, more powerful, and you're saving on fuel. See? Simple. And look, if you ever feel a bit stuck on what to say, here's a great little script to get the conversation started. You can just say, this is MBL8. It's an oil additive that protects your engine with a special plating action. It helps your engine run smoother, saves fuel, and makes it last much longer. I use it in my own vehicle. That last sentence is the most important part. It builds trust. And that really brings us to the main point of all this, the absolute best way. The only way to really understand how powerful MBL8 is to use it yourself. Put it in your own car. Feel that engine get smoother. Hear it get quieter. Watch how much you save on fuel. Because once you experience it for yourself, you won't need a script. You'll just be telling your own true story, and you'll do it with total confidence.